So every discussion that we lead here obviously doesn't end after 60 minutes, but we secure the key takeaways, we take them into our daily works, you do too, and also a lot of papers and recommendations derive from the discussions we start here or that go on here. One very good example is the Sherpa panel that we heard earlier today, this morning at 10, where we had to really fight for a space around this large table because we gathered 8 distinguished speakers here. And to show you what came of this discussion, I'm going to introduce to the stage and leave this spot my colleague Yamunna together with Rodrigo Belaunde. There you go.
Hi everyone, my name is Yamunna and I'm head of Summit and Content here at the Global Solutions Initiative. And it's my pleasure to welcome all of you, as well as to share some very interesting findings that we found in the discussions that started at 10 this morning. This was with several G20 Sherpas and SU Sherpas. We were very proud of the discussion because it was so candid, it was really informative, and we have some really interesting findings. Rodrigo,
Absolutely.
what happened this morning?
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Yamunna. I agree. It was an excellent and candid and very lively discussion. Really, first of all, thanks to our panelists. I don't see any in the room. Some might have already had to travel. Thanks also to our excellent moderator. I would be remiss if I didn't thank my boss, Andries. So I think we agreed, we went through our notes together this afternoon, and that intervention focused on 4 key issues. I think panelists agreed that the G20 remains a valuable platform that brings together the world's the world's key advanced and emerging economies on an equal footing to catalyze consensus on global shared challenges. So good news is everyone agrees the G20 remains relevant and valuable. And one very important point that several of our panelists emphasized was that the G20's role in shaping the global agenda and driving forward progress in multilateral processes, such as this year's fourth Finance for Development conference in Seville, or COP30 in Belém. And then briefly, there was also several of the speakers emphasized the need to perhaps streamline the G20's agenda, to go back to basics, as some highlighted the tension between having an overly broad agenda and reaching consensus on impactful policy outcomes. Against this background, issues that were highlighted, of course, were like just to refocus on global economic growth, on productivity, on macro-financial stability. And then the third was the need to, at the same time, keep development priorities high on the agenda. This is something that emerging economy presidencies, the last 4, Indonesia, India, Brazil, and this year South Africa, have so successfully championed. And there was consensus that development issues need to stay high on the agenda, especially financing for development. And then lastly, another point that our speakers agreed on was the importance of transparency and inclusiveness, and engagement with the wider UN membership to ensure the G20's legitimacy.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Rodrigo, for running us through the key points that we found in the earlier discussion. It was a power-packed discussion, and very, very happy to share this today with our representative from the South African Embassy in Berlin, the Deputy Head of Mission, Andries. Welcome to the stage.
Now you've got everything. Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope I don't have to study this when I report this back to my head office. But I'm pretty sure that everybody that participated during the past 2 days would allow me to just join the Global Solutions for having us all here and for focusing on the important parts that we need to focus on. I think I don't need to preach to the converted to say that multilateralism is important. And from South Africa's perspective, we are so grateful and privileged for the honor of chairing the G20 this particular year. And we all know that it's a specific and a particular difficult year with all the geopolitical challenges that we have. But from a South African perspective, and I was so happy to hear even yesterday in the opening speeches, there was a reference made to the South African term Ubuntu, that I cannot be without you. Basically, that's what it translates to. I am because of you. There's another Zulu word that in greeting is called sawubona, and it simply means I see you, I recognize you. And I think through multilateralism, we are trying to get that concept across, that we recognize others, and we recognize that we cannot address our global problems individually. We have to have a collective, and we need to see one another, we need to listen to one another, and we need to respect one another. And I think some of these points that were captured here will actually capture that essence as well. So thank you very much for sharing this with us, and thank you for the opportunity of being here. Thank you.